So in the previous video we have discussed about the introduction part. So in this video actually I want to discuss like what happens with in a company, right? So this is especially for the beginners or the students who doesn't know about the internal like what's happened internally, like when a pod get into development or into the discussion phase, right? The requirement gathering and the product development phase or testing phase, what actually happens there, and where actually the tester will play the role, key role, right? So yeah, so we'll go ahead. So say suppose in a company you have a product and we are launching the first version of it. So what the project management team will do, so the PM here is a project management team. So what they do actually, so I mean there will be some higher levels as well, but where we actually consider is the product management level. So what they do, so they actually gather the requirement and from the client, and also they will suggest the team to develop the right product, right? So product management always give this kind of information most of the time. Yeah, there will be other job as well for the product management team, but the majority of the time we'll see they're giving the requirement specification and they're suggesting the right product to be built, right? So what development team will do? So development team will pick up the technology, right? Required technology, and they do develop the product. Yep. And one of the product is developed, the QE team will come into picture, and they will actually test the product, right? And if this they'll see an abnormal behavior of the application, they'll go ahead and raise a defect, right? A defect or a score or a bug. So there are, so defect will be called also as a score or a bug in some organizations. So that's how it is. So, so suppose in our example, so for the product V1, the testing team has manually tested the product because there is no automation suite. So it's a first version we got, and we have created 10,000 test cases, manual test cases. So this is something which is written in high level language, and this is stored somewhere in the test repository. So suppose the QC, quality center, is one of the famous tool, and that can be a proprietary tool also. So where actually we store the test cases, manual test cases, right? And if we see some abnormal behavior, and we'll go ahead and raise defects. So where the defects will be logged, the famous name Jira, like some companies they use it for defect tracking, and also there'll be some proprietary tool as well from the companies, right? And the version, and after that, like once the version one of the product got released, so what will happen? So the QE team will focus on the automation, automating these 10,000 test cases. So in that context, what they'll do, they'll pick up an automation framework, a required automation framework, and they'll go ahead and automate these test cases. So suppose I've given a wrong number here, sorry for that. So suppose out of 10,000 test cases, not all the test cases are automatable. So there will be some test cases which we need to do it manually. For example, there are some 8.5k tests which are automated, and 1.5k tests cannot be automated, and that has to be tested manually every time. Okay, so the testing team has automated these tests, and this test cannot be automated, so this will be marked as not automatable or something, so some tag, right? And if you see at the end, if you calculate the time to test the product V1 version of the product, so it is 1 week, and the number of resources used are 10. So 10 people, they worked for a week and they tested this app thoroughly, right? And now if you see on the next release, so product will have the enhancement, right? So in the next release, the product management team has come up with a new requirement. They're saying this has to be changed, or we need to bring the new feature, etc, etc. So that case, what will happen? New test case will get added to your suite, right? And once the new feature got developed on an existing feature, you need to test thoroughly the whole application, including the new features. So to test the old feature during the release of V2 version of the product, you need to execute the previous test, right? So those 8,000, 10,000 test cases actually. So among which 8,500 test cases are already automated, right? So what the team will do, they will just run this 8,500 test cases automation script. In a day, they'll get the result. I'm just assuming in that way. And the team can focus on this 1,500 test cases, manual test cases, along with the new feature testing. So that way they can actually like cope up with this, this time constraint, and they'll get the product tested thoroughly, right? So if you see here, the cost of the company get reduced. So if there is no automation here, so if you see the old test cases are 10,000 and the new feature test cases can be some 2,000 test cases. So 12,000 test cases again you need to work for some 10 days or 15 days. So but here you are getting that done within 3 or 4 days, or yeah, less than 5 days you can say. So this is how actually the automation, test automation will help the company. So it will reduce the cost of the company and time to the company, which is very important. And testers can actually focus on some other things, right? So that's why the test automation, knowing about test automation is very important, and to know about the test automation and to work on automation, we should. There are some some prerequisite, right? So 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 those prerequisites will be covered. Before we learn the test automation. So in this channel specifically. So if you see here, we should know at least one programming language, right? It can be Java, Python, Perl, or Ruby. So in most of the people, they are aware of Java, and also most of test projects we have used Java. So that's the reason I have taken this programming language, and we will learn this programming language thoroughly. The most important topics we'll discuss in depth, and then we can also we'll be covering some other topics here which I have not mentioned, but yeah, these are the major topics we should learn as a tester, right? And after this, uh, we'll focus on the UI automation, right? And yeah so so in the UI automation, we'll be learning locating the UI elements, and we'll be learning Selenium, and also we should know the frameworks, right? The available frameworks which is most commonly used by most of the companies, test engine unit, and one of the famous the design pattern period model. So in combination with these two, we'll see one of the framework, right? Yeah. Apart from this, we'll be also learning the REST API automation, where we'll be giving some introduction to the REST API, and we'll be learning the REST assured framework. Yeah. So this is the going forward. The going forward plan, and we are going to discuss this in details. So there are technical topics which we'll be going to cover in future. Yeah. And apart from this, we may also cover some other technical topics as well. But yeah, for now this is the plan, and on demand or on request, maybe we can add few more things. Yeah. So as I said in the introduction video, we are not only learning the things, but we should also focus on the interview preparation, right? So there is some gap. Like most of the tester, they'll see rejections in interviews, and because of some reason, right? Maybe they have prepared, but they are not able to answer, and they got some question which is twisted way, and they got some coding skills, some coding questions, but they couldn't able to answer. So yeah, so those kind of concerns are there. So we'll cover that gap, and we'll try to cover that gap, and which the people will get benefited from that. So learning and preparation for the interview, both things will focus through this channel, right? So so yeah, so in the next video, I'll be starting the programming language Java and with the introduction, and yeah, we'll see more, more things into like we'll go in depth, like to what extent we should learn as tester. Yeah, and programming language is very important. You want to implement something, right? At least one programming language we should know as a tester, right? Okay. Hope this helps, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.